a dating site for anti-vaxxers called Unjected.
Unjected has been removed from the Apple App Store.
It is the unvaccinated who are the problem, period, end of story.
Frankly, we know that we can't trust the unvaccinated.
It's the unvaccinated who are the threat.
Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo. Rest in peace, Wheezy.
The Unjected Show with your hosts, Shelby Thompson, Scott Armstrong, and Zach Brown. Call 1-833-3UNJECT. That's 1-833-386-5328. Lines are open now. The Unjected Show is intended for an adult audience and may contain explicit material. User discretion is advised.
Aloha.
Aloha, friends.
What's going on?
It's been like a hot minute.
It has been. So thank you all of you in podcast listening land, viewing land. There's been a lot going on with Unjected.
It has been like the most secret 9/11. So if you're wondering like what happened to Unjected, it's because that's how serious it actually has been over here. So whew. But I'm glad to be connecting with you guys.
Yeah. Good to be back with the team, with the family here. So, Shelby, how you doing? What's new? What's going on?
Good. Well, I'm as good as I can be. I'm thankful that, I'm safe and my family's safe and my mom, she actually escaped Lahaina that day. But, unfortunately, there's so many people that are unaccounted for. There is people that we've lost that we don't. I used to live on Front Street. So when I first moved to Hawaii, I lived and worked off of Front Street. So that was my shit. Like I know every back road. I know the ins and outs of that town, midnight walks to the beach and the harbor. Like that was my spot. Especially before I had kids too. So it has a really fond place in my heart. And, it's truly shocking. And then to see what's been happening after now 21 days later or something, is that where we're at?
Something like that.
It's insane.
I can say from just an outsider's perspective, the lack of response and the lack of coverage, it's mind numbing. This is, this seems like another situation of horrible government response up to the tier of Katrina.
Oh, worse than that.
Probably beyond.
Oh, worse because the media is not allowed in, and I'm telling you, sorry, I move this. So after it happened, it was the complete blackout. I mean, the authorities, so people started walking into the town the dawn after the fire and, spying on what had happened. And mind you, these individuals, they have fucking accounts of bodies littered in the streets as far as you can see. I've personally been given one video that I actually shared with Scott that I think has I find it to be damning evidence of maybe a direct weapon. I know that people love to fucking conspiracies, space lasers, and then they share pictures of SpaceX and then they fucking discredit our movement. But this isn't right. And then they've spent more time building a fence. I figured out how they spent $3 million building a military grade fence with the black tarp around it, hundreds of boulders, FBI every 100 yards, National Guards at every corner. It's a crime scene.
Yeah. It's when you see a tremendous amount of, that's the indicator. There's a tremendous amount of intelligence presence, National Guard presence, and yet there's still clearly things just aren't getting done at all. So there's clearly no motive to help clean this up. This was their presence. Their job is to control control the people, one, and make sure that nobody who shouldn't be seeing this doesn't see it.
In my biggest opinion, I think that they are and the EPA is going through right now and they're spraying the whole entire area, which we dove into T-Lab with Ryan, where we talked about this stuff. It's called
I got that pulled up here. If you guys want to check that out. So The Last American Vagabond, you can go to thelastAmericanVagabond.com. Right here under the tab, Ryan Christian interviews. It's the top one here. Shelby Thompson interview, ongoing cover up in Maui fires with thousands of children missing, which we will get into as well. But I listened to the interview earlier. It's great conversation. And yeah, so Shelby, tell us more about that though.
So I mean, I think this is one of the quietest things that's happening right now, especially is this soil tack, which is this pink agent they're going to spray all over Lahaina, and it's an adhesive, it's a glue. And if you go and you read the safety data sheet, which is what Ryan did, it says don't use next to bodies of water or literally on the ocean. It says don't use in burn areas because it's flammable. That makes a whole lot of sense. And it also says it's definitely hazardous. It's not like healthy. It's not non-toxic like they're saying. So I think that these ashes and this debris and this material, I think that it probably holds a lot of evidence, molecularly, like what happened, like how hot was this fire? What was the kind of energy used, whether it was fucking arson or whether it was a direct energy weapon. But what is going on? Like, because there would be scientists that would want to test these cars that are completely melted on, steel is melted out of them. Steel. People love to talk about the aluminum. I want to talk about the steel. Why is steel engine blocks melted and stuff? Like, people would want to test that. And so instead, they're like, no, let's fence that off, please. Thank you. Don't look behind here. Let's actually put a sealant on it, too. So any ash hopefully doesn't fly over where you can test it from down the street. And then let's scrape it all up. And then what are they going to go fucking dump it in the ocean and hide all the evidence like they did with 9/11?
Totally. Well, I mean, that's the big thing, too. Like Zach, you say it's a crime scene, but, I'd argue, too, it's a cover up. They're covering up. They're not preserving it as a crime scene with the intention of getting to the truth or getting to the bottom of it. They're sealing this place off, as we watched in the last episode that we did. And you can go to the Unjected Twitter, the video Shelby made. You can see the fencing that they put up, which seemed to be a priority. That was like the first priority.
That was the priority.
It was like overnight. There's this huge fence erected with this black tarp preventing anybody from looking in or climbing over. And then, of course, the boulders is so insane. Where did they get these boulders? These gigantic boulders they placed along the road.
How many trucks?
Yeah.
How many trucks and bulldozers and cranes and just to put boulders?
And where did they get the boulders? Did they have to like blow them up off of some quarry?
Painted white already. They're already painted white.
The amount of effort that would have taken, like that's almost like a Tower 7 thing right there, where it's like Tower 7 in relation to 9/11. It's kind of the Achilles heel of the whole thing because it shows there was a lot of pre-planning that went into the whole event. The only reason why that building was to come down, the only reason why a building would fall that way is if there were demolition charges placed on every upright column in the whole building, which indicates it would have taken months of preparation and planning. And so, the fact that they had these boulders sitting there ready to go, or that they deployed them so quickly, shows that they knew this was going to happen.
Well, they did, because of what we're finding out, because Hawaii is sloppy. They were not expecting a world dissertation on their criminal activities. They did not they did not even realize that people were going to even peek at them at all. And they didn't even try. I think it's like July 17th, the governor gave himself the rights in a proclamation that he's allowed to do whatever he wants with the land if there's an emergency disaster.
Whoa.
Wow, that was really convenient. He did it 3 weeks before. And it also took away the Sunshine Law, which, if you guys don't know what that is, that's public discourse to like government conversation. So he gave himself all emergency power to seize land. 2, took away the public right of free speech 3 weeks before the fire. And then the FEMA director was vacationing on Maui.
Mm.
Oh, what a fucking convenience.
Yeah.
And she was on Maui, but it took FEMA 6 days to show up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unbelievable. Plus, you have like military bases right nearby. You have
100 miles.
Yeah. So the fact that it took that long to even get there, I mean, I remember during that
Where
time.
was the boats? Where was the hospital ship? Where was the boat with the water pump like 1 hour into the fire, hosing down Lahaina and saying, "Oh my God, like we saved you." Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it on purpose. They herded
Yep.
everybody in there.
Hey, Japan, this is your opportunity to make up for what you did on Pearl Harbor. Come over here and help.
I
We
saw
did
an
it
article about that.
Yeah.
And hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. I saw
What, the article says they did it?
Speaking of Pearl Harbor, like I've talked about this on other interviews, but like, you know, one thing that people need to understand about Hawaii is like, this is not this does belong to the native Hawaiians. This was an annexed territory that was stolen. Hawaii is stolen land. The only reason that people like myself get to live here is because it was stolen by the Queen, held at gunpoint, literally to annex Hawaii, which was never, and they never signed it. It's an illegal annexation. And the only reason that we are able to stay here is because our U.S. military occupation. And then we essentially just took over after that, right? We made sure we had military base here. And then we immersed ourselves into all of Hawaii until it was, you know, that history was
wasn't there a lot of there was Asian presence in Hawaii?
There's a lot.
Yeah. How did that, is that Japanese or is that something else?
There's a lot of Japanese history and like Chinese and like Portuguese, Filipinos that all came during like plantation times to help do sugarcane and like develop the island. So yeah, no, there's like a very you know, white people in general are a minority in Hawaii. Like most of the people here are from other places. But you know, like with that being said, like I believe that is stolen land. I do. And just like other land all over the world, but they just did it so much sooner. Like, you know, this was only in the 1950s that this became a state.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is
well, the geographical location would be very consistent of, you know, military testing.
Right. We're the only stop before China.
Yeah, well, and the Pacific has been traditionally you know, a location where they've tested a lot of their more harmful, you know, catastrophic weapons.
Yeah.
They blew up the nuke in the water at Bikini Atoll, right?
Yes.
And that's how far from Hawaii?
I want to say it's like 6 or 7 hours.
Oh, so it's a ways away.
Nice.
It's a little ways away. We are the most secluded. We're about 6 hours away from any landmass in the world.
Wow. That's wild.
It's the most secluded place on the planet. And that's why they want to have their hands on it. Duh. Like it's, yeah, I mean, we're the only stop from here to China. So then you can talk about this. I need to really learn more about, like, but the military leases are a real thing that were signed by Roosevelt. There were 100-year military lease to be stationed in Hawaii. They claim that they are already disassembling Pearl Harbor and moving it to other places because they're not allowed to be there anymore. Is that why ships didn't come and shit? They don't care because they're disassembling that military base. It's not even, we're just faking it right now. Or did they destroy Lahaina Harbor so they can make a new military installment right here? Because we got kicked out of Pearl Harbor. I think there's like a lot of questions to be asked, but Hawaii has such a convoluted history of this stolen land. Like this is like the hit, like this is how we got here. So you have to really like follow the money so far.
That's wild. That's wild. You know, I was going to say, like, I've been saying this too, like if the lack of response and the failure of the government in this case, you know, if there were to be an argument to be made for the existence of a government, it would be to actually help out in situations like this. Like, okay, so all
Only
right,
thing we need them
we're gonna
for.
have a government. All right, guys, you win. We'll have a government. Your only job is to just like make sure when shit like this goes down that you are there to help. And so if they can't even do that, then I say we just get rid of the whole
Well,
thing.
I think it's almost from what I've seen. I haven't seen a ton because, like I said, it's kind of hard to get real
It's just
time
like
accurate
media
information.
blackout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's difficult, but to me it seems it's like it's not only negligence. It's like they seem to be actively
Mhm.
blocking, behaviors that would help.
They are. And those first few days, they were blocking all locals from bringing in supplies. So in Lahaina, there's only one way in and one way out. And it's a roadside that's literally on like the biggest sea cliffs you can imagine. It's called the Poly. And so you have one road in into Lahaina, or you have the back way, which is Kakulukoa, which is kind of a dangerous road. It's not really like one that people like to travel on a lot. Like tourists don't take this road because it's super sketchy. It's considered like a locals only road. So there's that way in, that way out, and then otherwise from the ocean. There's like very limited options. And so Lahaina town is when you're coming off this Poly cliffside, and it's all on the ocean, like about 12 miles long, Lahaina. And to get to any other parts of the island, like you would have to go through it. So they like when boats started pulling up looking for survivors, Coast Guard was saying, "Turn around or we'll shoot you." You're not allowed to dock your boat here and bring supplies. Nope. You have to go all the way around to North Maui, which I know people probably can't visualize what I'm saying, but it's the west side of Maui and Kahana, which is like the very northwest point of the island. And so people would have to bring their boats to there, then put supplies on paddle boards or jet skis, and then get them to the shore that way because they were blocking them from docking on land. And then the road was closed even to local traffic. So you couldn't come in, we couldn't bring gas, we couldn't bring propane or food or water. So people started going through the backside if they had, and they were only let in if they had placards. And then they had taken that off. But like, I mean, it was essentially like that first week, there was not any government assistance. So where it says Kapalua, that's like, so it's Kapalua, Kahana area. That's where they brought, people were forced to go up there to bring supplies into Lahaina, Napili, Hanakauai, Hanapali. So, it's just absurd. And it's deliberate. They wanted it to be, as traumatic and difficult as possible.
Well, it's just the
sounds
thing
like it.
too is the idea that it's like, okay, they're forcing people to go to these, it seems to go against every person's common sense and on how they're handling it.
Right.
And it would be one thing if they came out and said, this is why we're doing it this way. We need this to happen and this to happen, and we can't do this because if they come in on this shore, this might, if they just provided a blueprint to the thought process, that would be one thing. But this is,
did. They were like, "Oh, it's dangerous."
yeah, I mean, it's
There's
yeah,
active fire. It's like, you're fucking liars. That's not true. They're like, it's asbestos is in the air, but then they're all walking around, fucking not wearing anything.
yeah.
I think they just lied about the reason though. Like, you can't come here because it's too dangerous. Too dangerous. No, it's because there was thousands of bodies in the fucking street in their cars. Why are people burned in their cars? As a human, you should be able to, if you are on a seawall in a car, you should be able to escape your car and get into the ocean.
There were people burned in their cars.
Yes. Not
What?
just a few, a lot. Was this an EMP attack? One story that stuck out to me in particular was a retired fire chief, which I actually know this man because he served me breakfast before many times. He died. But him and his friend they saw the smoke coming down the mountain. They were like, holy fuck, wow, this is really approaching quite quickly. I'm surprised there's no alarms. We should get out of here. So they both went to go to their separate vehicles, which were parked in the front of the house. They both got into their car. The one guy who's telling was the one who lived, so he's telling the reenactment. He said as soon as he was able to get into his car, he couldn't get out of it. The door immediately locked. He had to break out of a window because the car wouldn't start. And then he said that his friend, he was watching him have the same issue. He was stuck in his car with his golden retriever. His car wouldn't start either, and his windows wouldn't unroll, and his doors wouldn't unlock. And he wasn't able to escape his car. He wasn't able to break out the window, but he was. And the guy ran off, and they lost each other in the smoke. Essentially, he had to abandon his friend because he was going to die. Why were the cars not working? And then I'm going to tell you that my car, that was not my car. It's a family car. It's my mom's car, but she's escaped Lahaina that day. She was driving this car. It's a 2018 RAV. It's a hybrid. So it's definitely like a computer chippy kind of car, like smart. And 1 week after the fire, when I was driving it, it went into complete system failure, brake failure, battery failure, like exploded. It was, and this is a car, it's only 5 years old. The warranty thankfully covered it, but it was going to be almost $9,000 or something to repair. And now I'm hearing that many people on the island are having car battery issues. It wasn't just me. Many people are experiencing some sort of electrical malfunction with vehicles after this has happened.
And this is, they're having issues with cars that weren't touched by the fire.
It was like these like any cars with like a chip they were like given. So anyway, Shelby, you sent me that video of your dashboard. I got that right here. Let's take a look at that. So this is like literally what Shelby's car started doing all at the same time.
Down a mountain by myself. I thought they were trying to. I think the feds were trying to take me out. Maybe.
Yeah. So look at this. See if this is something you've ever seen before in your vehicle. It just out of nowhere just started glitching out.
Oh, and it wasn't like a little bit too. It wasn't like a casual, like I was literally like jamming my music, and the whole entire car started like going off into alarms. It was so loud. It started like the most high pitched scream alarm. And I slammed on my brakes. It scared me half to death. Then I looked down, the whole thing is like a Christmas tree. I was like, holy shit. But I'm hearing I'm not the only one. I don't know. And then with the people in the cars, it just feels like, and I mean, mind you, like I'm not an I don't know how fire works. I'm not an expert. Does fire travel that fast? I don't think so. I don't know. Logically, I don't think if your car started to light on fire, wouldn't you be like, I'm out, right? Like I'm not going to sit in the car. I should be able to get out of the car. I should be able to break a window. Why are all the doors sealed shut? Why are the windows? Well, I guess we don't know anymore because they melted. That's not normal. Melted windows. But they didn't want people to go in there because they didn't want to see how these bodies were. I feel that honestly. And there's only very few people that do have the evidence, which is the locals that were on the ground here. Like there's one gentleman that we know is a friend of ours, Kikoa. He pulled 300 dead bodies out of the seawall before authorities even showed up after 4 days because he wanted to give them dignity because they were literally rotting in the street and in the ocean and no one was there. No police. They were just building the fence. They were literally just building their fucking riot fence. And I believe that because I think that the death toll is so high. I think it's 5,000 to 10,000. And you guys are like, people will call me fucking crazy. Where did you get that number from? Where's that evidence? With my own eyes. That's my evidence. Where we know the census of Lahaina. Every school department knows every student birthday, social security number, parents, what about fucking voting? I mean, I'm like the amount of details that we have on our population There's no reason that we don't have a fucking manifest list of every person missing and every child missing. And if the child isn't going to go back to school, then what are they doing? Where are they? Where are they being housed? Why aren't they going to go back to school? Why is there 2,025 children unaccounted for in the school system? Mind you, Zach, I don't know if you've heard this. School was sent home that morning of the fire due to the wind advisory and the power being out. So these children were home alone, and their parents had to go to work. They didn't sound the alarms. So the kids, what? Were they burned in their homes? Were they stolen?
So there was no. When you say they didn't sound the alarms,
that's a huge piece of the puzzle.
Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, because Hawaii to me, it seems it always like when I think of Hawaii, I actually have and oddly enough, a picture of like up high up on a mountain, like like big alarm system, like it.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, and so the idea that
you YouTube one, Scott, like there's got to be one of the siren. You can see, we can listen to it. Yeah, I mean it's loud. So yeah, we do. So Zach, you're exactly right. Like, and even up where I live, up country, I'm about 1,600 elevation, which is about the tsunami line, anyways. And we still have sirens near my house, and they are the most robust alarm system in the whole country, let alone maybe the world. They stretch for miles, and we have them covering the whole entire island. The state of Hawaii claims that they're used for obviously tsunamis, terrorist attack, lava, wildfires, bingo, ding, 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 ding. They're supposed to be used for any dangerous situation in Hawaii. And they never sounded over the course of 4 to 6 hours that the town was on fire. So the only warning that people had was when they finally like heard screaming outside, and they were like, holy fuck, everything's on fire. And we know that the alarms work because they test them every single month on the first of the month, because it's a joke, because we joke about it and we go, oh, our rent is due. So we know they tested it like on August 1st or whatever, like a fucking week before. It works. They didn't. The guy says on the press conference, I don't regret not sounding it.
Yeah, what a piece of shit.
Yeah, what if, and he's like, I think he's the fall guy.
Yeah.
But he says because people would have ran Mauka, which is the mountainside,
into the mountain,
claiming that people would have run towards the fire. And I heard an analogy that I really love, and I'm going to use it now, which is like, if you say there's a shark in the water, are you going to run into the ocean more? No. Do you think anyone would have like, oh, I'm going to go run into the fire?
Yeah, because you can just see where the fire's at and run away from it. So I do have a clip here. Let's check this out. So this is an example of what the siren sounds like on Maui.
Yep.
Rent's due, motherfucker.
That's how it feels. We make jokes about it because before a tourist, when the first time they're visiting, they go, "What is that?"
Yeah.
Go, oh my god, we need to run, and they go, "Really?" You go, "Yes, that's the tsunami siren." And you start acting freaked out, and they fucking like, "Oh my god, do we really?" You're like, "No, it's okay. It's just rent's due."
That's hilarious. That's just a rent siren. Yeah. People are just so delinquent that they have to.
I bet every Jewish landlord would just love to have that in all their buildings.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're just gonna install rent sirens in the building. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
But where are the sirens? And so then I'm going to tie it back to what if this.
So you said it went 6 hours before they sounded the alarms.
No, they didn't
sound the alarms at all.
Oh, they didn't at all.
No.
They didn't at all. And then here's my question. If it was an EMP attack, would the sirens work? No, probably not, right? So then the sirens wouldn't work anyways. Maybe I'm wrong,
Well,
but
that's the
that's my
official narrative.
assumption.
That's their story, is that they weren't working that morning. That's Josh Green, the governor. That's his story, is that they weren't working.
Weren't
What?
working.
I
How
didn't
do
hear him say that. They said they
how
weren't working suddenly.
You didn't know? You didn't hear that? Josh
I
said
did
that.
not hear that.
Yeah, he said that was his excuse. Sirens weren't working.
Oh, the sirens, not like people.
Yeah,
People
they were.
were
The sirens were not functional.
But then they go and then they backtrack and say they don't regret sounding them.
Yeah,
See, they're so
I
sloppy.
remember hearing that somewhere.
They don't even. They're so slow.
Did they say what they thought the origin of the fire was?
Down
It's-
power lines.
Yeah,
Which now there's this whole entire lawsuit that's happened against HECO, Hawaii Electric Company, which so in the morning was like 6:30, 7 a.m. the morning of the 8th. There was a downed power line that had caused a small fire, which was then all of the lines were de-energized. The fire was contained and we went about our day, but the power was still out in Lahaina for about 6 hours before the second fire appeared, which was the one that took out the whole entire town. And so if the lines were de-energized for 6 hours already, how, that doesn't also add up. Like, was it, were you saying it was the hot spot flared up? It doesn't really add up.
Did the second fire was in the same location as the first?
It generally, not exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's sketchy, and then it gets even worse because we're finding out is all the pilot logs are getting erased. What does that sound like? 9/11. So what were these pilots seeing? Like, when you come into Maui, you have to, and any other place, right? You have to leave your pilot diary record of how your flight experience was, how the landing was. And over 30% of them are gone off of the air traffic control website. Why is that? Why is the OGG pilot reports missing? What were they seeing from the sky? Were they seeing planes that were not on their radar, undisclosed aircrafts? Bring it back to the direct energy weapon. We have one here on Maui. We've got one on Haleakala. We have one literally here, but is that too easy? Was it from a Boeing? They have them on planes too. So, I mean, who's to say? When I look at the one, so Zach, we haven't showed you the video yet, but the one video that I was given, which actually, I think my car became compromised after I was given the video, but it's very graphic. It was somebody who walked into Lahaina the morning after the fire, before the authorities could get to him, trying to see what was going on. There's this one body in particular. He's in the middle of the road. There's no evidence where the fire jumps to him. Okay. Like, and on each side of the road, there's not burn marks there, but he's in the middle of the road and he's like in half. On half of him, you can read his t-shirt. You can see his hair color, facial. Like, half of his body is intact. The other half is entirely charcoal. And how does that happen? Like, and then okay, like, let's be devil's advocate. Like, did something blow up against him? No, because wouldn't all of his clothes light on fire as well? Like, why would it just be a perfect direct line in half of you? It doesn't make sense. Like, were there also hundreds or thousands of other bodies that looked like this one in particular? And that's also why this is a massive cover up. They don't want people to see these anomalies. I did send this video to someone who works in the military who had responded with, oh yeah, that's absolutely what direct energy weapon would look like. You can tell by the deduction of the way the body looks at the beam. And it's kind of like, I don't know enough about this, but what I would associate it with kind of like, and I don't use a microwave, but everyone knows how microwave works, where like sometimes it cooks one side, molten lava, right? And then the other side of the food is still cold. And you're like,
Mhm.
why?
Mhm.
Like, is that
Yeah,
how what happened here in Lahaina? And
Yeah.
is that why the blue objects didn't burn?
It's a very spooky video. It's really creepy. So I do have this real quick. So I did some quick research. Now I want to give a shout out to the No Agenda Show. They have this service called bingit.io where you can type in a keyword and it goes and searches the transcripts of all their episodes. You can pull up exactly in the episode that they're talking about a specific topic. And I knew it was on No Agenda where I heard this, but anyway, let me do the audio share here and we can listen to their coverage of how the siren, like how Josh Green said that they were silent. And I'll back it up a little bit, so we'll get the full clip. Tell me if you guys can hear this.
The fire and how things were exploding and what the fierce winds looked like. They were 80 miles per hour gusting.
Mm-hmm.
And the fire, I'm now told, was as high as 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It just destroyed everything. It's not to excuse anything else from any company. It's just to explain what the world should prepare for. And I humbly ask all of the cities and states to spend that money now to prevent disasters like we're seeing here.
Doing what? Climate change.
Doing what?
Climate change. Oh, and there's more cool stuff.
As we've been discussing, there are now a lot of questions about all of the policies and procedures. The National Weather Service had issued a fire watch for your state August 6th, a few days before the fire hit. With the siren system, you said to CNN on Monday and again on Tuesday that you believe some of the sirens were broken.
Oh!
When did you learn they weren't fully functional?
We assess every siren across the state on the first of the month, and then we ask people to update them and fix them to their abilities. Of course, a person, as a father, as a doctor, I wish all the sirens went off. The challenge that you've heard, and it's not to excuse or explain anything, the challenge has been that historically those sirens are used for tsunamis. That's when I came to Hawaii 23 years ago, was told when I was living down near the shore. So it's usually tsunamis and hurricanes. For perspective, we've had 6 fire emergencies this August. We had 6 fire emergencies between 1953 and 2003. That's how fast things are changing. I know that there is debate out there of whether we should be talking about climate change or not. Well, let's be real, world. Climate change is here. We are in the midst of it
Okay, that's enough from that guy. But anyway, if you guys want to check out the full episode, that's No Agenda episode 1585. Episode 1585.
You know what? Fuck you, Josh Green.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You are a scumbag, globalist, Satanist, a piece of fucking trash, and you will get what's coming to you.
Yep.
You fucking suck. And I'm sorry. I'm blown away. I can't even, I literally listen to this guy and he's like, fucking, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm sorry. Take it back to the vaccine agenda. They all voted, they selected him in, they loved it. I mean, regardless, I don't think voting is real, but whatever. He used to get up on a whiteboard and go, fucking get your vaccine and shit.
Ugh.
This guy has always been a piece of shit garbage. I hope he hears this. Fuck you, Josh Green.
Yeah.
And so just like listening to that, I just want to throw up a little bit, but like that is a blatant lie. Sirens work. That is like saying that's like 9/11 whenever they were doing the
drills.
The drill.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, this reminds me of because clearly whatever it was that caused the flames to move very, very quickly, very, very, very quickly, to the point where the way that you've described it, it reminds me of like a Pompeii situation where people were just like,
and they're saying that about some of the bodies,
right?
I've got a clip about that too,
where it's like people were just
calcified.
Yeah, and they like it wasn't like, you would understand if there was somebody was in a compromised position and couldn't move and they got burned. You're like, yeah, if there's a handicapped woman, yeah, it makes sense. If she gets caught up in the flames, she's not moving too quickly.
Right.
But, able-bodied people that just got stuck in the car, there's a guy laying in the street half burnt. Like, it reminds me of Pompeii, where you see these bodies and they're like, oh, he was doing something, and for whatever reason he couldn't get out of the way of this.
And that's exactly like the footage that Shelby was describing about that one guy. He's not in some panic pose. He's just it's like he just was frozen and then just fell over this. Like, that's it. It's crazy.
And
it seems I've seen wildfires where I grew up in South Dakota, the foot of the Black Hills. We have wildfires sometimes. And maybe, because I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about fires or how they fucking behave. But it seems like, wind creates a faster moving fire, and there's components that can create a fire that's hard to escape from. But it just seems like this one was moving exponentially faster than any other fire. Like, there's been massive wildfires in Canada for weeks, and the death toll is not anywhere near, I think, where the Hawaii death toll is. So whatever it was that started it, this is the fastest moving fucking thing, and there could be a chemical component to the burn itself that's, allowing it to jump quicker.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely, do the chemtrail with the aluminum. But with the wind, actually, Scott, I'm going to send you this video really quick. So my mom took this video before she had left Lahaina, but the wind usually blows in from the ocean side. That's super typical. It's called trade winds, and it comes in from the ocean side and cools off Lahaina town because it's super hot. And this day in particular, all of the wind was coming from the mountainside, which is very untypical. This having mountain come right down the mountain and funnel into the town was like someone turned on a wind machine at the top of the mountain. And then, here's back to where they're just sloppy. They're like, oh, it was so windy because of the Hurricane Dora that was 700 miles away south of Hawaii. If that made any sense, wouldn't the wind be coming from the south?
Yeah.
From the ocean? Yeah. Shouldn't we have had an influx of surf? None of that happened. And then, if you look at the radar, the cloud disturbance between Dora and Hawaii is still. So it couldn't have been from that, because still there's it's all chill before you even get to Hawaii. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I saw that radar on it was my friend who was connecting with Malone. And what's most interesting is from the north, it looks like static frequency, on the radar, kind of like a TV that's out or something. And it's coming from that north side where the fire came down from.
That's crazy. Well, I do have that clip here. Let's check this out real quick. So you can kind of see the wind's coming from the mountain.
It's from the mountain. That whole place burned down.
Also, there's not a ton of smoke either.
That was before the fire really started. That was in the morning. That was the morning time.
Crazy. Well, you guys, I do have some clips here, and I think the focus is this story about the missing children, and so I have a couple clips for that.
Hold on, let me piss. I gotta piss.
Yeah, you're good. Look, I'm gonna play Shelby's clip that she posted on Instagram, just kind of detailing her thoughts on it, and then we got a couple more, and then we can talk about what we know. So, all right, be right back with you.
Aloha, everyone. Okay, this is the video that everybody should be making. This is the headline that should be on every single TV across America, let alone many places in the world. Why is there 2,025 unaccounted for children in Maui? Where are their parents? But where are the children? If this was a school shooting, we would have their pictures, we would have their birthdays, we would have all of their personal details and their parents' details within hours and on public television. We're how many days into this, and you can't tell us how many children are missing or who they are. And we want to know. So can somebody please tell me, if you are a parent, if you know family members, tell me. I hope that I'm wrong. Please, I'm begging to be. I would love if prayers were answered and all of these children were accounted for. But right now they're not. And why isn't the media talking about it? Why isn't this the story on every channel?
I mean, that's the question of the day. Why is it not on every channel? It's so crazy.
Did I send you the link to the actual DOE statement?
No, please do.
I'm gonna
We'll
send
pull that
you
up.
right now,
Okay.
and we should pull it up and let's read it, because I
Okay,
want
let's
to
do
read
that.
how bullshit it is. Like, it is the most fake garbage I ever seen in my life.
I do have this article. This is what I believe you were referencing that video. This is from EV Magazine. I'm not really familiar with them, but this is talking about how, there's over 2,000, like 2,025 missing children that, according to their school registrations, are not present.
Right.
2,025 students remain unaccounted for. Oh, here's the link. That might be the link right there, but remain unaccounted for in Lahaina public school system following the devastating fire on August 8th, which is my birthday. I'm so sad. My birthday is forever going to be remembered as this horrible day. So it's like, whatever.
Or it's the day that everything changes.
Day that everything changes. Yeah. Oh, there's Zach. Zach's back. Okay. Let's see. Well, yeah. Why don't you send me the link that you do have just in case?
Just signaled it too.
Oh, you did. Okay, cool.
But yeah, like they go through it and they talk about it, and they make it sound like it's a mystery where we don't know.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, that's so crazy, man.
Crazy. And so, mind you, like, the governor said, "Oh, we're never going to find many of these remains. We're never going to find any parts of them. No teeth, no bones, no nothing."
Yeah.
So no remains. 2,000 unaccounted for children.
No body, no murder.
No body.
No body, no case.
Maui East irrigation system is hundreds of underground tunnels in Maui that are 300 to 600 feet deep that are all over this island. Like, are we too late? Should we have stormed the irrigation tunnels 2 weeks ago?
Wait, so I'm curious to know these
there it is.
The kids that are lost.
Yeah, so this is what they're saying. As of what, the 21st?
21st, yeah. So
that's 10 days ago. We have no updates since then. Wow, still a fucking mystery. So pre-fire, 3,001, re-enrolled 538, students who have done long distance learning, 438, remainder of students who have not re-enrolled in another public school or who have not, or distance learning, may have moved to another state or enrolled in a private school. You don't have a number? You don't know? You don't know how many children re-enrolled in school or what happened to them. You don't know their names. Where are their photos? What the fuck is happening here? Yeah. This is where I get so fucking mad. Why doesn't anybody care?
Well, where are the parents? Like, what are the...
Thank you, Zach. Where are the parents? Where the parents also perished in this mass murder, and that's why they're not out there talking about it. Because I've come to realize in Hawaii that people are very, they are. This is our like ohana and our family, and like I've only seen two parents post about a child that died, and there's no one else. Where's the memorials? Where's the vigils?
The little piles of flowers and crosses and stuff.
Where's the toys and the crosses and the fucking the flowers and the... Where is it? Where are the parents? Where are they not able to say I'm missing a child because they're gone? Did they murder them? I don't get it. I don't fucking get it, but I know that it's like something is. I'm a mom. I am a mom. Like if I was, I would be hysterical. There would be nothing that would stop me from trying to talk about my child or find my child, and yet the only person that will even mention it to the mayor is a reporter from Kentucky who then was escorted out and almost arrested because he asked how many children it was. Like that should be the parents asking that. And and there should be an actual riot, in my opinion. Like if the parents were alive and this was all, if this is true, I would hope that all of it's wrong completely and that all of them are accounted for. But since we're now how many days into this and we're not, then that's why the body toll has to be fucking 5 or 10,000. Like it has to be so many people because, like, let's just say if it's 2,000 students, even if they all had one parent, that's another 2,000. Let's say they had two parents. That's what? Another 4.
Yeah, 4,000. Yeah.
I mean, oh, but then like, what about extended family? I mean, so
nobody's saying anything. It's like
one thing that's interesting about Hawaii is like, you know, a lot of people come here as like, we're kind of like all misfits in a way, you know, like a lot of people do start their own way here and, you know, family is on the mainland. But like, I don't know, it just seems strange. But at least for the Hawaiian generationals that have been here forever, I do believe like, where is your aunties and uncles and cousins? Like it must be a much bigger murder than we could even anticipate because there should be an uproar. And so it's like, is that why you're building the fence? Because when people like, you're just trying to push it off like literally as long as you can, just trying to get this like narrative going. So then when you finally rip off the band-aid and there are 2,000 missing children, or let's say we find another 500 over the course of this, what if it's like 1,700 missing like people should be storming, revolting. Like if you're a human on the planet, like, are you kidding me? Like, is that potentially the greatest child massacre on, like, I don't want to even Google that stat, but like, could it be potentially?
Could be.
The fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And why the fuck? Even if this is all just like, no one's gonna talk about it. No one wants to bring it up.
What is the status of the fires right now? Like what?
Extinguished.
And then I think I heard.
So there's no danger really anymore, and they're still not in like that. So okay, again, no danger. We can go into these areas. We can excavate. We can find remains, and the idea that again I don't who you said the governor said that we're probably not going to find. It's like that's a weird. That's a very bizarre thing to say because, it's not like it's a huge flood and everything's underwater. That would be very hard to find remains, right? That would be a situation where he said, if he came out and said, unfortunately, because it's underwater and with currents and we may not find. But this is everybody. It's a stagnant. They're not going to move. They're not moving. They're dead and they're burned. So just go find them. It's about going to each location and just finding them. So the idea that we're not going to find remains. And by the way, if they're saying that we're not going to find remains, if that implies that the fire was too hot, and it burned them up, that's like cremation. That's like a synthetic fire.
Well, it would have had to have been hotter than that anyways because of the windshields, the steel blocks that have been melted. But then also, one thing that was brought to my attention, which was kind of curious, was that like on Front Street, there was probably, I don't know, a dozen jewelry stores. What happened to all of the diamonds? 2 banks also burned down. What happened to the money? What happened to all the diamonds and the jewels? What happened to all the historical artifacts? Like,
can diamonds burn? Can they?
Diamonds don't melt until 7,000 degrees. But I've done some research, but they start burning around, I think it was like 900 degrees. So like, could you also carbon test diamonds to see how hot fire actually got? Is that why it's fenced off? Because they are actually going through and trying to remove all of this evidence, like metals and precious diamonds and gems that could determine heat. I think that's curious as well. I mean, literally, there were so many jewelry stores on Front Street because that was like the thing to do. Like, you come to the island and somebody's husband buys them some jewelry on Front Street before you go to dinner. Like, that's what you do. And so, like, I don't know. It's just that's also weird. Like, not to take away from the children, but like, is this a mass child stealing and money? Like, did they just go through and fucking heist everything and land grab? Now the EPA is going to spray this pink shit everywhere on ancient burial grounds and on the new remains. So we haven't even found all the bodies, but we're going to spray glue on it. Well, now we're definitely not going to find them. So
it's crazy. It's Ocean's 808. You go in and take all the jewelry, take all the kids.
Crazy.
The new George Clooney movie.
What is the purpose of spraying that shit? Do they think it's going to catch fire again?
They want to seal the ash and debris down from flying around because they say it's dangerous.
And so they're going to spray even more dangerous chemical compounds to prevent that from happening. That's the government in a nutshell. It's like, oh, here's a problem. We're going to come in, and our solution is to make the problem 10 times worse. That's government for you, folks.
Well, and that's how they'll especially like declare it uninhabitable, like sprayed chemical over it. Like, I've already seen pictures. I've seen pictures of taro already regrowing through the ash. So you're gonna tell me like it's poison? Like, stuff is already regrowing. So no, you're just gonna poison it.
Exactly. Well, I got another clip here related to this specific part. It may cover some of the same stuff we talked about, but it's more people that are getting justifiably angry about it, so it's important. So here we go.
Now we're hearing reports that over 2,000 children right now are unaccounted for in Lahaina public schools 2 weeks following the fire. And this is according to the Hawaii State Department of Education. This is not according to a TikToker. This is not according to Twitter. This is according to the Hawaii State Department of Education, who is documenting who's showing up in school and who isn't. So for anybody out there that tries to snoop, so we'll come out here and they'll try to say, well, we're fact checking this with our BS meter and we're going to just automatically deflect on any stories about it. Well, then maybe you should turn to the people you look up to the most, which is the government, who are even admitting in Hawaii that over 2,000 children have not shown up yet to school. Now, we all obviously have heard reports from so many people in Maui, so much so that even local media outlets have picked up on the story, claiming that the numbers that they're giving in regards to the amount of people missing is nowhere near. In fact, the number seems to be edging closer to the amount of people that we lost on the 11th of September. Yet you don't hear this pumped and pushed as a national tragedy. Why? Well, too many people were too suspicious of what they saw with their own eyes.
Good points. This is the next 9/11. I mean, this was a 9/11.
9/11 of children.
And the 9/11 of children.
Not let alone how many adults are still missing. Fuck them. What about the not fuck them.
Yeah, well, we know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, rest their soul, and I'm so sorry, but like that's not the concern in my eyes. Like, where's the children? This is a 9/11 of only children. And you know why I did this, in my opinion? If you believe, like I do, that they are Satanists and Illuminati and Freemason or whatever the fuck they are, reptilians,
and also just fucking
demons, just fucking demons.
Yeah.
Gay.
They're gay.
And gay. And
gay right now.
You're all those things. And like, you are going to choose the place to breed your nefarious, like, they're very intelligent. They use the stars, they use the planets, they use astrology, they use energy, they use all of these things that like a lot of people don't understand, and like that's also how they manifest these horrible realities into the world. Hawaii lives on a energetic plane on the whole entire planet that is very special. Like, some people would claim it's like like Stargate portals. You know, I'm really going deep here, but like the energy in Hawaii is very special. And why, like, if you were going to, and they call it the womb of the earth, Hawaii is the womb, the mother womb of the planet. So if you were going to reproduce and breed nefarious malfeasance, wouldn't you start in the most beautiful place in the world? Because it'll help you manifest that easier. If you can do it in the most beautiful place, that most beautiful, energetic, powerful place, then you can do it anywhere very easily. So that's why they chose Hawaii. That's why 808 is our zip code and our our area code. 808. It happened on 8/8.
808.
Lionsgate
Oh,
portal.
808. Yep.
It was 8/8, which is all surrounded about fire. This was a ritual. This was a sacrifice. They did it on purpose. This is all like when you look at all the pieces that are not coincidence. This is a ritual.
Yeah.
This was a human ritual, and they needed to do as many children as possible or steal them or kill them, because that would only enhance their evil and their demonic energy, and we need to call it for exactly what it is. And I believe that this is a moment for the whole entire world, because it's really helping lift the veil. If 2,000 missing children can't wake up the planet, then nothing will.
Yep. Exactly.
Nothing will. And I pray that none of this is true. I don't want to be right.
Yeah.
I am sick that there were submarines spotted off of the coast of Lahaina the morning of the fire, military subs. It just doesn't look good. Okay? So we should be asking questions. Like, at this point, I'm ready to go take my fucking sign down to Lahaina that says, "Where is the children and what are you hiding?"
There you
And go handcuff myself to that fence until National Guard give me an answer or until they arrest me. Like, where's the protest? Where's the anger?
Yeah.
Where is the curiosity? Where is anything? If you were a fucking person on this planet, this pertains to you. Just because it's not your child, maybe you're across the world, you should want to know. This is an everyone problem. This is an everyone problem, because they're going to do it everywhere.
I will tell you, just because, on the mainland, I don't know if this is where it's how it's like where you're at, Scott, but there is well, you just mentioned the word curiosity. There is a lack of curiosity, I feel, and it probably stems from just people not being able to get information. You know, so it's
fluoride and pornography.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know. I will say, if you're a person who only watches, if you come home and you flip on the news, I will say this, and you're on the mainland, this is not that big of a deal. If that's the only information, the source of information that you have with this,
right?
It's really not that big of a deal. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if there's a decent proportion of people on the mainland that don't even know that this happened.
True.
Wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah, well, we're doing our best to get the word out. And one of the things I do want to shout out, I should have shouted this out in the beginning and several times throughout, but Shelby and the great #1 Billboard artist Jimmy Levy have started this Give, Send, Go, you guys. There's an episode, or there's a link in the episode description. Thank you to everybody who's contributed. Just so you know, this money goes directly into the hands of the people who are struggling right now. So
look at those fucking cars.
I know, isn't that crazy? So
yeah, that's normal.
So
hold on.
Well,
so
let me just say real quick, it's givesendgo.com/faith over fear Maui, and there's a link in the episode description. So
and just to say before we stop, when Jimmy comes to visit next month, that's when we plan on distributing the money together. And we're gonna give it out to like the heroes that have really shown themselves.
Yes, the LGBTQ community.
Those will be our first choice.
Can you go back to that? Can you just please? Because the picture to me, like, this looks like fucking Kuwait.
Mm-hmm.
Napalm.
Yeah, this looks like fucking Iraq.
Yeah.
I'm
You should just Google some before and after pics.
So is this a road? This is not like a parking lot.
This is so right here. This is like right where I used to live.
So, but this is a road. This is not like where people park.
Main road.
This is like the main road.
Okay, this is what baffles me. It was so fast that people couldn't drive away.
Oh, they were blocked
Well,
in,
and
dude.
they were in gridlock too. Well, and then so the police, it just gets worse and worse. The police were literally blockading every exit out of Lahaina, like, and herding people back in like a parade into this road. And they claimed it was like, oh, power lines, this, that. Meh, meh. No, it was systematic, coordinated, in my opinion, intentional thing. But like they couldn't escape because the road was blocked and the gridlock.
Yep, and Alex Jones has been calling it administrative mass murder because of the administrative policies that causes so much death. Whether it was the sirens failing, the fact that they turned the water off, dude. When the fire department showed up to put the fire out, they shut off the water, dude.
No water in the fire hydrants.
It's like this is administrative mass murder.
So
it's like doesn't get like every detail. It's like
yeah, I'm having trouble like wrapping my head around it. Yeah,
that's how it's been the last 20 days, like especially here on Maui. Like, and then of course, just like we saw with vaccines, like some people are completely asleep, and so what a terrible disaster.
What is the? I know we're coming to the end here, and we're gonna wrap up, but like, what was the? I heard something about the blue.
Oh, okay. So
what is that?
I'll bring it this up really fast.
Look at this car right here, just completely melted.
Yeah, can you zoom in on that?
Yeah.
So there was like a bunch of blue things and items, houses, cars, materials, all in the blue range. Yeah, right. All in the blue range that never melted or burned or scorched in any way. And
well, I guess it's just like there's so much inconsistency with damage. So you would assume that an environment that has a consistent natural disaster, it's going to have consistent effect on the environment. But it seems like there's inconsistencies.
Look at the building. Look at the untouched building in the background.
Yeah.
Behind that.
Oh, there's a blue.
With the eagle. Look at the eagle is still on it on the far left.
Oh, this one right here. Yeah.
Yeah, like look at that.
Oh, wow.
Like, and then everything else is obliterated.
Yeah.
Well, so then now, have you guys heard about the Operation Blue Roof from FEMA?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I think that's them poking fun at blue being safe. And then if you look up, there's something called Blue Halo, which is all around direct energy weapons. I don't think it's called Operation Blue Halo, but Blue Roof. But so Blue Halo is a technology that deals with energy weapons. So that's kind of suspect name. The frequency of blue is 66.6.
What? That's my favorite color.
Hold on, go back. There was a link right under that one, Scott. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers
and Blue Roof in Florida. Basically,
so they claim it's to save houses from rain and flooding.
It's like this here, where it's like they throw a bunch of like tarps over the roof to protect it from whatever.
Right, and so then ironically, only the blue houses are standing. And then blue cars, blue everything. Yeah. So the frequency of blue 666. That's freaky.
Mm-hmm.
The Simpsons episode with only the blue tarp.
Yep. Yep. Pretty wild. Oh my God. Well,
question everything,
guys. Like it's this is like the craziest thing, and I can't even imagine how you've been had to deal with it out there, Shelby. It's just like, man, and like you're persevering and you're doing a lot of really good work reporting. I know you've been going on shows nonstop, really getting the word out.
My favorite word is getting fired up, and I can't use that word right now because I'm like, it's not appropriate.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean.
All my favorite words. I'm like, I can't, like, ooh, it's lit.
Yeah.
I can't say that anymore. Like, fired up.
you got to have a sense of humor. You got, I mean, to the extent possible, you got to have a sense of humor about things. Like
Flaming faggots out too.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, exactly. I saw a
that
meme.
was probably out before.
I saw a meme the other day. That I didn't share with you because I thought it might have been a little too insensitive, but it was pretty good. I don't know. You want me to tell you?
Tell me.
Okay, it was a photo of Biden. It was him falling asleep, and that's a whole nother rabbit story. Just like the disaster of Biden. It was just like him sitting there like that, and it says, when you go to Hawaii and you realize there's no children there, and he's like him sleeping.
Yeah, because you already stole them. There's no children for Biden.
So he just takes a nap. Oh, there's no children here. I'm just gonna take a nap.
Oh,
God. So
it's so true.
I was like, that's a little too
true.
Yeah, but yeah, that Biden piece of shit coming out there just making a mockery of it and just freaking, oh my God, that was.
You know what's the craziest part about the whole the Biden thing? Like they found coke at the White House.
Yeah,
and it's like at first I was like, good. He needs to be on. He can't function, so he needs to be on cocaine. They're like, Hunter Biden's taking cocaine. It's like Joe should be. He should be taking. He should be on a consistent. He should have like a daily plan of cocaine.
Lots of cocaine. Yeah, just direct. So
hey, did you guys see, on a funny note about this, did you guys see the next Mitch McConnell freeze set?
Yes.
Holy shit, dude.
He froze again.
He glitched out again, dude.
Fucking Christ.
They're like, are you gonna run for office?
Yeah, he just.
And then his handler comes up again, his clone handler. She's
Yeah.
Like, you okay, Mitch? Like,
it's so funny. Oh my God, it's unbelievable.
like all politics is at this point is like just elderly abuse out in the open.
I think I could probably. I'm not somebody who packs like I've never measured the force behind a punch of mine, but I think I could kill him with one.
Oh,
I think if I
I probably could.
Yeah,
dude,
it's so sad, so sad. Well, I don't know. These are the people that are trickling down their positions in these offices, or what's causing what's happened in Maui. So it's just like
maybe that's what happened to the fucking alarm operator in Hawaii. He just McConnelled out, and we're like,
Well, I think it's possible that they did that with the fucking. That's why they mandated the vaccine for everybody.
Yep.
They could control them with their remote nanotechnologies.
Yep. Question everything, guys. Don't rule it out. Don't roll your eyes. Don't roll your eyes. Don't think this is insane. Like, we live in a world with technology beyond our the technology available to them. Is 50 years ahead of what we know of.
Annie Jacobson was one of the most trustworthy reporters on what's happens kind of behind the scenes with intelligence community. She's written a few books. One of them's called The Pentagon's Brain, and in that book she states, and like I said, she has the very trustworthy resources and citations, and one of the things that she said just objectively and said, this is 100% truth, is that wherever society is at technologically, DARPA is at the very least 25 years beyond that.
Yeah.
Can
so
you imagine?
Yeah. So they're not playing around anymore, apparently. So they're starting to roll this out, and so we're just kind of chasing our tails, trying to piece it together. But in the meantime, if you guys want to find love, you can go to unjected.com.
In the meantime, find your apocalypse partner, because shit's getting real.
Yep.
Okay. Find your fucking person.
Yep. Unjected.com, baby. Sign up today. So there you go. Yeah.
And we're gonna have more tiers coming out soon for you guys. We've been
Tears, not like crying tears.
Sad tears. We're gonna have like membership options for you guys.
Additional membership options.
Yes. So if you are someone who does not want to be verified, we understand. We still love you, and we get anarchy and saying fuck the government. And my opinion is we're already all on the list anyways, but if that's something that concerns you, we're going to open up another version, or not version, but like carousels of Unjected for people who don't want to be verified. So you're still welcome to join, sign up, and use the matchmaking features just in a little bit of a different way. And then we're going to leave verification is kind of like an upgrade for people who are still interested and want to make sure that you're finding the safest possible selection.
There you go. Yeah. So more on that. It's coming very soon, guys. So anyway, we hear you. We hear you loud and clear. So, but anyway, it's been going great though. I've had a lot of just like people are loving it. People are loving it. I've had a lot of people like messaging me like on there and being like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for everything you guys are doing." And I get to, anyway.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's a lot of people are loving it, and it's I can't wait where this is going. So anyway, with everything, the show, everything, and we just need to get Maui back on his feet so we can focus on bigger things. So
yeah.
Well, good, Shelby. Good luck out there. Just please keep us posted. Obviously, we chat all the time.
I'm gonna go take a sign to Lahaina. I'll bring some footage with me for next week's show. I'm gonna do it.
Have Grandma go film.
I want it. You know what? Can you find? What amendment right is it for me to protest? I can't remember it. It's First Amendment right to protest.
Peaceful assembly.
Yep.
Peaceful assembly. So if I'm walking around with a sign
on public property, there's nothing they can do.
This is my first. So let's all talk about this for one moment because I'm bringing this back for next week.
Okay.
Whatever happens to me, we know that this is legal. So the National Guard is either going to remove me. And they're going to say that I am not allowed to be there, which is against literally my right to assemble, which will be very interesting.
Public sidewalk. Just be on a public sidewk and you're fine.
I will.
Nothing they can do.
I will.
Don't change. I mean, as your lawyer, I would advise you not to handcuff yourself to anything. But I mean, if you want to go that route, I mean, I'm sure we can raise money to bail you out. That's fine. No worries. I'm down. I'm totally down. But I'm saying if you want to maintain the moral high ground in this, in all
I won't chain myself to anything, but I will bring signs.
There you go.
You could do a public squirting video.
A public what?
Squirting.
Public squirting. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, listen, if that woman in the BLM riots, it just showed.
I better put my Gibson Go on there.
Yeah,
it just showed her pussy to the cops.
Oh yeah,
so you need to up that. You need to up that. It's about capitalizing. It's about striking when the iron's hot.
I went to get my safety inspection, and my blinker wasn't working, but I was wearing a mini skirt, and he passed it anyways. So
there you go.
That's
there you go.
Moral of the story.
How fucking hilarious would it have been if there was if there were fires all over Hawaii, and then just like Superwoman come and just squirt all over?
That would have been awesome. We need you, Superwoman.
That would have been more helpful.
That would have been more helpful. Yeah, that Marvel characters squirting from the sky would be more helpful than the U.S. government in this situation, which is very sad.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that's fictional.
Yeah, and yeah, they're both just as fictional too. Yeah. Exactly. Jesus. God. All right, guys. Well, thank you for hanging out with us, and sorry about the little hiatus there, but we're back. We're gonna be trying to bring you as much information as we possibly can as the story develops, and hopefully just get back to doing what we love to do. But in the meantime, this is kind of what needs to be put out there. Like this is important stuff, and and please share this episode. Share it with all your friends. Share it with your family. You're the catalyst that's going to be able to get this information out, because the mainstream ain't going to be doing it. So it's up to us. And so there you go. So all right, guys. Well, I guess so.
Love you guys.
Yeah, love you guys. So until next time, stay natural.
Stay free. Stay injected.
Stay hard.
Stay hard. All right, guys. See you next week.